President Biden is urging Americans to tone down our political rhetoric. That comes after just this past Friday, he had these words to say about former President Trump.
Most importantly, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, Trump is a threat to this nation. He led a violent mob on January 6th to overturn the 2020 election. Hold on to power.
Now, that happened Friday, but then after the shooting, he took to the Oval Office. This was the night after the shooting, to call on Americans to lower the temperature in our political climate.
You know, the political record in this country has gotten very heated. It's time to cool it down. We all have a responsibility to do that.
But just last night, President Biden denied that he had anti-Trump rhetoric, that he had said this in the past.
Have you taken a step back and done a little soul searching on things that you may have said that could incite people who are not balanced?
Well, I don't think, look, how do you talk about the threat to democracy, which is real, when a president says things like he says? Do you just not say anything because it may incite somebody? Look, I have not engaged in that rhetoric.
And Biden doubled down, saying he won't stop going after President Trump.
What can you and what will you do, at least things you can control, to lower down the temperature, the rhetoric out there?
Continue to talk about the things that matter to the American public. It matters whether or not you accept the outcome of elections.
You know, I want to start here, Harris. So J.D. Vance is announced, and the first thing that comes out on Joe Biden's Twitter feed is echoing that the democracy is at risk. And you would just think, so close to the events of Saturday, talking in these existential terms would be something maybe you pause on.
Yeah, the only thing that we've seen that's been really putting democracy at risk are the words that the left is using. You know, it came to mind last night, the rhetoric that was used against the U.S. Supreme Court it was 2 Julys ago now, July 2022. And we had a man go to Justice Kavanaugh's house with a gun and a knife. It came to mind what those words can do on Saturday. And are you going to say that the victim caused that to happen? Or are you going to say that all of the words need to be taken down to a new tone? And why the President Biden can't consistently lead on that issue is mind-boggling, because it only hurts him. The American public is looking for some sort of word right now. Maybe that word is peace. Maybe that word is unity. And if they can't get that consistently, and he becomes a hypocrite with those words, a hypocrite rather, which I guess I combined Democrat and hypocrite there, with those words, that's problematic for a man who's so low in the polls, because all of this, it would seem, would be about politics. That's not where the American people are living right now. Theirs is about safety and about keeping a commander-in-chief safe, former or current.
2 items I want to play from the interview that were stunning to me, and I want to start with this one. Biden seemed to echo hoaxes, so to demonize his opponent. And Charlie, I want to play the first hoax for you. Here is the president on Charlottesville.
I wasn't going to run again because I lost my son. I didn't feel it. And until I watched what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia. Those folks coming out of the woods with torches, carrying swastikas, singing the same Nazi bile, was accompanied by this Ku Klux Klan, and a young woman was killed. And I was a bystander. And the then president was asked, what do you think? He said, they're very fine people on both sides. Not fine people on both sides.
Snopes fact-checked that. Snopes is left-wing as false, but yet you reiterate this lie about your opponent.
Yeah, and of course they fact-checked it, what, 3 years later or 4 years later? No.
Right.
Like 7 years later they finally fact-checked it. Not only is the rhetoric at a 10 from this guy, but it's also filled with absolute demonstrable literal lies. And it's the same with the January 6th thing when he says that Donald Trump led a violent mob. That is factually, technically completely inaccurate. That's a lie. And when you mix lies with this kind of rhetoric, really bad things happen. And also, democracy just doesn't work. You don't actually debate through issues like we're supposed to.
Emily, so then Joe Biden was asked if he's done any soul searching, and he used the moment to resurrect the bloodbath hoax. Let's play it.
Now, my opponent is engaged in that rhetoric. He talks about there'll be a bloodbath if he loses, talking about how he's going to forgive all the, actually, I guess, suspend the sentences of all those who were arrested and sentenced to go to jail because of what happened in the Capitol.
So, Emily, he said Trump predicted a bloodbath. I do want to play the president in context. Here is President Trump on bloodbath.
Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us. No, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line. If I get elected, now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it.
So, Emily, he was talking about the auto industry, and President Biden uses this moment to resurrect a hoax.
There has been a careful selection of President Trump's words to further a narrative by the left that he is indeed a monster, the likes of which we've never seen.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Compagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.